Good evening, everybody. Welcome, Marhaba, welcome to you, all of you. If you're joining from other time zones, good morning, good afternoon, to whichever the time zone you are referring with. It's our absolutely pleasure and delight to have you out with us once again. And I'm seeing the time is dot 7:30 p.m. UAE, so I believe that people will start joining us from everywhere sooner or later. Uh, my name is Anchal, and I'm welcoming you once again to this PMI UAE webinar, which we are going to organize as a part of a ritual exercise twice in a month, absolutely with our all rigor and passion. So we want to bring all best value to all of you as members and the prospective members of the chapter. And the chapter webinar series is a space where we try always to make our ideas to meet our actions somehow, and then also to share our experiences to meet our inspirations meanwhile. With that, I'm being joined with the two or more people with me with the back end, Mr. Amir and Reena, who are helping me out to conduct this session at the back end. And I'm also being joined with our esteemed guest, Mr. Tauseefur Rahman, today. And of course, we are going to introduce him and the topic as well. But meanwhile, give it a couple of more minutes for the people to come in. And then we are seeing that they're jumping in out. I think we have more than 190 plus registrations we have received. And we are hopeful to get as many as of you on board. Meanwhile, while we explore our further journey today, the webinar is going to last somewhere around 75 minutes. And in this package, we are sure and then absolutely warranting you that we will try to explore the important part of the catalyst that really driving the sustainability across the different industries, organization, and societies. We are definitely going to touch base with those standard frameworks. And then also the session is going into the role of standards as the essential bridge that can really translate the high level environmental commitments which everybody is definitely committed to and always strive towards to really become an actionable and the transparent outcomes. Webinar have a snapshot for the sustainability challenge, and of course there's some kind of quiz also which we are going to get it through. But meanwhile, the current standard framework, correlation to SDGs, and the future outlook, all in all, will be touch based by Mr. Tauseef today with us. Before we move ahead, the housekeeping notes will be something like this. Apparently, we are going to start with a brief introduction of the PMI UAE chapter, and of course, will be followed by a 1 minute presentation, which I'm going to share very soon now. After the presentation, our idea is to really get through the main content of Mr. Tausif, and then we will host a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Please post your intriguing questions and topic-related questions in your Q&A section of the Zoom session there. If you want to share some comments and thoughts, feel free to do that in the chat section, and the questions can definitely flow into the Q&A section there. Also, the participation is going to serve you on two essential PDUs, which is going to be the part of your this webinar. And then, of course, you're going to get them collected in your PDU section, where, of course, your PMI email address need to be matching with this registration address for that. Let me share my quick screen now while we see that how many people have come in now. Let me jump in. Okay, we have 41 sorts of people have come in. So let me share my screen meanwhile. Here you go. Okay, so project management, of course, we all know about project management, PMI, but absolutely it has been going around strong the past 50 years now, and it is being founded by 1969 with a group of working project professionals there. And it is one of the largest association so far in the world. It is also issuing the global standards and credentials on this particular subject, and then also offer the training, accreditations, and the community engagement facilities as well. We also have the sponsorship and publishing research material, and also we also try to accomplish certain thought leadership and knowledge content as a part of this journey throughout the different chapters involved into the PMI. The chapter vision is about empowering and influence the individual with the innovative project economy principles to turn their ideas into the quick reality thing. To make this idea really work out, the mission statement goes like that: to disrupt and create the value offer value-driven opportunities to all of the members like you and the partners who are associated with the chapter to become agile, innovative, and productive in the platform for the growth of this project economy. The chapter is 100% run by 100% volunteers only, and then we are more than 4,000 active chapter members now. We are ranked among the top 5 chapters in the EMA region, and our focus is to bring the leading industry practices and trends to you through the different engagement options we have. We are also aspiring community of project managers, and then we have different certified programs, and we are seeking all new members to come and join us and to contribute with their capabilities and offerings to the whole community perspective. We all depend on you and your efforts to make this chapter activities as interactive and invigorating as much as you can, please. The board of directors, now we have the fresh new board. Of course, you must be aware about it possibly, but we are now having the fresh new board with being led by President of Ms. Amina Abdul Rahim. And then rest of the board of directors have been reappointed and newly fresh appointed as well, who are going to play their part to help Amina to run the show over there with us. We have the membership benefits involved there, networking, learning and knowledge sharing sessions, mentoring, career growth platforms, and the event. So we are doing this webinar as a part of the pillar of the event over there. We also have the member corners and spotlight section, which can definitely give you an opportunity to shine out and then share your thought ideas with the rest of the community chapter members and the community fraternity. Please feel free to post your thought leadership and your articles to the newsletters at pmiua.org. And then rest of the important news articles, updates, you can definitely get through the pmiua.org website. And then, of course, we are on the YouTube where you can find these all webinars, which we record and also keep it for the archive purpose if you have missed it out for that matter. We are also present in WhatsApp groups and the particular specific industry focused, and also we are on the social media handles as well. So with that in mind, I would like to introduce Mr. Tauseefur Rahman now with me, and it's my absolute pleasure to have that he is going to share the stage with us, and he is a professional in management, system auditing, and consulting industry. And he has done the bachelor's in chemistry and master's in business management, holding the 22 plus years of experience and the 17 years in TIC, which is testing, inspection, and certification. This industry specifically, he is doing auditing work, certification of different standards, including ISOs and so on. And also he's an exposure of 5 years in management system and trainings as well. He's presently associated with leading certification body in Dubai in the position of SMETA product leader and senior lead auditor, and also entitled with a qualification for the different international standard under sustainability product portfolio. Beside that, he's PMP, PMI chapter member, and of course, and rest of the system auditor in Osaka as well. So with that, all the praise, Mr. Tauseefur, is I'm going to hand over the stage to you, and we are eager and is equally curious to understand and learn simultaneously together.
Thank you, Anshul. Very good evening to all of you, and welcome to this session. This session is on a very simple topic, a burning topic, that is sustainability and standards. It's going to touch upon the project management as well. So enjoy the session. I'll just put the slide in a minute. Please. Here it goes. So topic is standard as sustainability consultants. So sustainability catalyst. Standards are not only the management system standards, but all the applicable standards is covered in this scope. So the session is going to take you around, we'll start with the ice breaking, in fact, and going to discuss the current global sustainability challenges and recommended mitigation strategies. Sustainability, standard, and project management, the correlation, the integration. We are going to touch upon in brief, the standard and sustainability concept, as you might be quite familiar about sustainability and standards. Current standard framework that supports the sustainability. Toward the end of the session, we are going to discuss the case study, a short case study, followed by the Q&A session. So I'll be now starting the quiz. Just give me a minute, please. So maybe may I request you please scan this code. Take a minute. Hope you are able to access the quiz through using this code.
It's posted in chat also.
It is also in the chat as well, the link, if the
Yeah,
people are not able to scan it.
please.
Yeah.
So here it goes. So how familiar are you with the sustainability standards? That's very good. 50% goes in favor of familiarity. Okay, that's very good. 57% now. Which is good, in fact. Which sustainability challenge is most critical for your organization? Is it climate change and environment impact, or economic growth and market competitiveness, or social equity and community development? Okay. All three are equally important. Yes, 67%, which is good. Economic growth and market competitiveness is 33%. Climate change and environmental impact, yes, depending on the industry. Social equity and community development, also depending on the industry and the stakeholder requirement, yes. This I expect the 100% correct answer for these questions. Number of SDGs you might be familiar with. Sustainable Development Goals. Yes, 17 is the correct answer. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals. As yeah. So that's good. There's another QR code that will be shortly sharing with you. Just hold on a minute, please. I think so. I have to go back to the slide. Please scan it. Here it goes. Which one of the following are pillars of sustainability? Are you able to view?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Profit margin is there, yes. Environmental protection, social equity, but not health and safety. So the correct answer is environmental protection, profit margin, and the social equity. Approximate number of people trapped in forced labor globally. Yes, as per ILO's latest figure, that is International Labour Organization, it's 27.6 million. Women in managerial position. Yes, the correct answer is 3 in 10, as this is also as per ILO latest statistics available. Thank you very much. So, current global sustainability challenges and recommended mitigation strategies we are going to discuss. So, what are the current global challenges? As we can see, sorry.
Ashish sir, are you there? We cannot hear you out.
Yeah, just a minute, please.
Okay.
I'm not able to adjust this line. So, first challenge is biodiversity lost and ecosystem. Now, global biodiversity rates have declined rapidly. It has been observed, and in part, the reason is the degradation of the ecosystem. Biodiversity and ecosystem are both related. Ecosystems is the source for the interaction of biodiversity. So, the recommended mitigation strategy is the conservation effort that needs to be accelerated to maintain the habitat. And this also required the sustainable land development. Land development in terms of the consumption of water, using the effective and efficient irrigation sources, managing the soils, and managing the pesticides. Because there is a direct and indirect impact of these elements when it comes to biodiversity and the ecosystem message. And also following the rewilding program. Rewilding program means restarting or reestablishing the ecosystem, because ecosystem doesn't remain same because of the activities or the impact created by the humans. Ecosystem has depreciated, so this ecosystem has to be established. When it comes to the main projects, biodiversity net regulation is also another strategy, where the before the start of the project, assessment could be done, and this assessment could include the measuring the in quantitative terms the biodiversity, and once the activity starts or a project starts, after that also the measurement could be done, so as to ensure that the project leaves the biodiversity in the better situation what it was there before. So this is one of the challenge that we have discussed about biodiversity loss in ecosystem. The second challenge is, of course, the water scarcity. As we know that the resources are depleting very fast when it comes to water. There are many reasons for it, and especially the consumption pattern of this resource, the water is not same globally. It is varying, and it is uh, creating its own impact. And especially this has been observed in the developing country where the people doesn't have a proper and adequate access to the clean water because of the availability of the technology at their disposal and the resources and infrastructure. So there are some recommended strategies to cater to this. One of the strategy is to ensure the sustainable water management practices, to ensure the equitable access to the clean water, of course, reducing the water pollution and promoting the efficient water use. Beside this, other strategies that is available or other option in the strategies is rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is also a very good technique, but it is not equally followed in all the projects or all the development of the infrastructure. In rainwater harvesting, the water is there should be a provision of collecting the water and storing the water, and this water can be used in case of emergency situation and can also be used for other purposes, like for example the landscape and irrigation. Secondly is efficient irrigation techniques. In fact, irrigation techniques that have been used globally uh, now because of the advancement of technology, this there are techniques that are available that consume less water. So as simple as sprinkle systems, and of course, further reducing the wastewater. We are passing through a phase in fourth industrial revolution. So we are having a, excuse me. So we are passing through a fourth industrial revolution, and we all are trying to adapt to the new technologies like artificial intelligence. Uh, Artificial intelligence has its own pros and also it has cons. Now, when it comes to artificial intelligence uh, contribution towards the environment, it is enormous, especially to the irrigation facilities, uh, imbibing the technology in the irrigation systems, and also supporting the weather monitoring. Even artificial intelligence has been used to monitor the uh, endangered species from their behavior, especially in the aquatic life. But on the other hand, there are some challenges of it when it comes to the energy consumption, e-waste generation, and it has been observed that artificial intelligence, the pace at which it is growing, it will require a lot of infrastructure in technology. This infrastructure will have definitely an energy impact. It will consume more energy because artificial intelligent infrastructure, like for example, data centers, need a lot of energy for processing of the data. Secondly, artificial intelligence will also require a lot of infrastructure that will obviously lead to a generation of the waste. The third factor, which is with the artificial intelligence, is that artificial intelligence, as we know, is operates or process the huge amount of data. So when it is processing a huge amount of data, the reliability and the source of the data matters a lot. So in this regard, if the data is corrupted and is not accurate, then the decision making process or the leading to the outcome of this processing of data, the result from the systems using artificial intelligence may have an impact on the environment in terms of the incorrect results. Also, the more consumption of the artificial intelligence and related resources will also require a lot of resource extraction that will also have an impact on the environment. And last challenge is since artificial intelligence, if the data is not correct, uh, and especially when it comes to the organization, when they have already stored data, it may have a gender bias, for example. It may be more aligned to the male because historically, uh, because of certain reason which has been there into the culture of and society, the male would have been given more importance in the job, not the female. So that data may be processed and the result may not be supporting both the gender equally. There are some mitigation strategies. Providing the equitable access to the technology to all. This is one of the option available. The second option is having a possibility of doing the responsible innovation and imbibing and incorporating the energy efficiency in artificial intelligence infrastructure and resources. Ethical AI development will definitely play a role. It can be used to turn around the impact toward the environmental and societal factors. There are many regulations and standards that have been introduced when it comes to the ethical use of the artificial intelligence. But this is not sure up to what extent it will be followed, how this will be followed, what is the compliance monitoring system that we have to ensure that the regulation standards have been followed uniformly around the globe. Another option that is left is, which is also a mitigation strategy, is having making a transit from a linear to the circular economy. Circular economy, the main objective is to ensure that minimal or no waste is generated. But this will pose a challenge to the manufacturing and processing industry because they need to revamp and re-engineer their processes. And of course, investment in sustainable technology is also the option available because it will make a positive impact towards the artificial intelligence, and it will also make the positive impact towards the technology and concept which artificial intelligence is suggesting, supporting. Climate change. Now we are passing through a phase of the where we don't see the same condition that we were having 10 years down the line, 10 years before, and from here onwards 10 years also down the line, we don't expect the condition will be same. So option that is left for us to transit to the renewable energy sources, improving energy efficiency and reducing the greenhouse gas emission that are crucial. To understand the behavior pattern of the biodiversity diversity, including the aquatic life, uh, flora and fauna, and with the help of the technology, we can do this, and we can follow the sustainable land use practices. Sustainable land use practices to ensure that we consume less water, we use the right pesticide that doesn't impact the environment, and we also manage the land properly in the sense it leads to no soil erosion or very less soil erosion that in turn affect the environment. There is an option available of carbon setting, offsetting the carbon offsetting that is available to us. But let me tell you what the carbon offsetting is. If you consider this globe as a uniform space, then if one industry is creating more emission, then on the other hand, the other industry can take some initiative to offset this emission, and they can have some trading arrangement by which they can buy, the industry who's polluting more can buy this carbon credit from them. But this is doesn't will not happen overnight. This requires trees, for example. This requires time, because if we consider trees as a primary source for carbon offsetting, we need time to grow the tree, and so they can reach a time where the carbon credit can be generated. And secondly, there is a challenge because of the reason that the every topography is not same. There is changes in the topography, and when we are looking for absorbing more carbon from the surroundings, then we need to have a proper sequestration, um, and we need the resources for that also. So the mitigation strategy for is that we need to accelerate the rate of offset development and preparing for the future demands. Social inequality and uh, social inequality when it comes to the challenges, excessive generation, social inequality. Social inequality and economic disparity is hindering the sustainable development and the social progress. This is one of the factors. So, because of the reason that we have limited resources, everybody cannot have a same level access to the resource. That's why there will always be disparity into the resource access at the global level, country level, regional level. Some of the mitigation strategies that are available is as the United Nations has introduced the Sustainable Development Goal. This is one good way to comply to this requirement to cater to the need of the society when it comes to poverty, hunger, inequality, and social justice. Secondly, we can also emphasize on the investment in education, healthcare, and social safety net that will also help reduce this inequality challenges. Waste management is also a crucial challenge because the excessive generation of waste and pollution is posing a serious threat to the environment and human health. And as we have already discussed, the circular economy can play a big role here, but it has its own challenges. If we are able to cater to those challenges, then circular economy can help us reduce the impact of the generation of waste and the related pollution on the environment. We can, as a part of circular economy also, we can promote 3 R's. Reusing is reducing and recycling the waste and doing the proper compositing to reduce the waste and pollution. Energy access is also not uniform globally. It depends on various factors. We need to ensure that there should be a equitable or clean access to the clean and affordable energy, particularly in the developing country because they have a resource constraint and infrastructure is not appropriate. Also, the appropriate technology is not available. So the mitigation strategies that is recommended is promoting the energy efficiency through building the retrofit. When the building retrofit is done, they can use the more energy efficient resources, and they can also introduce in their countries the appliances standard. Like for example, we have ESMA here. The appliances from ESMA and other related standards, they really help in doing the positive impact to the energy saving. And of course, nothing is possible without the behavioral change. Until unless we make the people learn how to save energy, what is the importance of energy. Before we do that, we need to make them understand how to eliminate the overconsumption of energy. Because it will be useless to say that you do not consume the energy, and on the other hand, you take the initiative to consume the energy. There has to be a balance. So, in a nutshell, the companies that embed the sustainability into project management, they report the higher profitability and better employee retention. So, and this has been supported by certain studies as well. Some of the studies that have been performed by the global agencies, like for example, McKinsey study is there that shows that companies with strong environmental social governance practices has outperformed their peers financially over a period of time. But the variation will always be there. Secondly, there is a similar study that has been performed by the Harvard Business School of Research that showed that sustainable business practices correlate with better operational efficiency and cost saving. Also, there is one more study from the Forbes that shows that company is reducing the waste through the sustainable project practices and seeing the measurable cost reduction. Towards the end of the session, the link can be shared so you can access these studies as well. So now we will try to understand how sustainability standard and project management are related. Sustainability is in the basic framework of the project management, because it is this one concept that supports the project management, and once it is followed, the projects that are delivered, they will be more effective and result oriented. The objective will be achieved in a better way. So, as we can see, sustainability standards or the sustainability that provides the framework, methodology, and accountability mechanism that enhances the project management by integrating the environment, social, and economic consideration throughout the project life cycle. So, for example, if we take two projects, Project A and Project B, Project A is moving directly to cater to the requirement of the stakeholder without understanding the sustainability requirement. And on the other hand, there is a project B that has already have identified the applicable environment, social, and economic requirement, and meeting and complying to the relevant requirement. Definitely, the second project will be performing in a better way when it comes to sustainability fit matrices. Secondly, also the sustainability is integrated into the project governance that ensures the environment and social responsibility is embedded from the start. So, as we know, that project can be a short-term project or a long-term project, but at the end of the day, sustainability has to be on a continuous basis. We cannot say until the project remains, we will comply to the sustainability requirement, but sustainability requirement has to be incorporated from cradle to grave in the project. So when it comes to the sustainability standards, this is some mapping that have been done that shows the standard clearly. It also shows a focus area and how these standards are correlating to the project. Like, for example, there is a standard which is following the management system framework as per Deming cycle: plan, do, check it. This is the basic framework that is followed in almost all the ISO standard. So 14001 standard is the environment management system that has a focus area on environment management. And when it comes to the application of the project, it really helps in the environmental risk mitigation, which is one of the challenge for the project, depending on the complexity of the project, especially in the high risk, say, oil and gas, mining, and the construction sector, or any other related sector. It plays a key role. Similarly, there is another standard that is used for greenhouse gas quantification, measurement, and monitoring. This is ISO 14064. This, when it comes to the project application, it help in carbon footprint tracking. There is another ISO guidance document, that is ISO 26000, standard for guidance for social responsibility, that helps in the stakeholder engagement. Occupational health and safety is the standard that promotes the worker protection and safety in the projects. And energy management system also is the standard that leads to some resource efficiency when it comes to the performance, energy performance related to the projects. Besides this, there are other standards as well. Like for event management, there is a sustainability standard when the events are done from the start till end, how they select the venue. Is it sustainable or not? What is the location? What about the audience? How they will be reaching? What is the sustainability requirement for this audience when it comes to the event management? So this is how these standards have been mapped to the different projects. So, coming to the briefing about the standard and sustainability definition. As we are all familiar, standard is established norm, criteria, or specification that define acceptable level of quality, performance, safety, or any other practices. These are some of the general practices. They provide the measurable benchmark and requirement in terms of the criteria that they set. Secondly, the standard ensures the consistency and uniformity across the processes and products, and these are often developed by the recognized bodies such as ISO, LEED, BRIM, etc. It also the standard also helps enables the compliance verification and third party verification. That is the end result, in fact. But the if the organization wishes, they can also self declare themselves that they are complying and meeting the requirement of certain standards. And of course, these standards also reduces the variability and improve the predictability. Some of the examples, as you might be knowing, is ISO 9001 is a standard for quality management system. SA 8000 is a standard for social accountability standard from SAI, Social Accountability International, and ISO 14001 is for environment management system, and 45001 for occupational health and safety. So sustainability, as we all know, is the ability to meet present need without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their needs. So there are three dimensions: environmental, social, and economic. Excuse me, please. So environmental is focusing on protection of the natural resources and minimizing the ecological impact. Social ensure the fair labor practices, community well-being and equity. And economic is nothing but supports the business operation and the business and the profitability for the organization. So ultimate aim is to strike a balance in between the people, planet, and profit. For example, a sustainable construction project reduces the carbon emission that uses by using the recyclable material and support the local employment. Current standard framework that supports the sustainability, there are different standards. Not all standards support all the element, but some standards support try to cover almost all the elements. There are some standards that support the social element of sustainability. There are other standards that support the environment, and there are almost all the standards, directly or indirectly, when they support the social and environmental elements, they do support the economy as well. So, first standard for that provide the guidance for social responsibility is 26,000. This directly addresses the social equity pillar of sustainability and covers the basic concept when it comes to the human right, best labor practices, environment, fair operating practices, and addresses the key issues of discrimination, child labor, equal opportunity, and business ethics. This guidance document of ISO directly aligns to certain sustainable development goals when it comes to the gender equality, decent work and economic growth, reduce inequalities, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And some of the key topics is related to the community engagement, fair labor practices, anti-corruption measures, and supply chain responsibility. Environment management systems is the standard of ISO that provide the requirements for the organization when it comes to management of the environmental aspect and impact, defining the requirement for the operational controls, requirement for the emergency related to environment and monitoring measurements. This also helps the organization to adapt and to cater to the climate challenges and also support the key concepts in the circular economy. Some of the key topics in environment management system is that of compliance, emission reduction, waste management, and renewable energy integration. When it comes to sustainable development goal, it clearly relates to the clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, responsible consumption production, climate change, life below water, and life on land. 14064 is the standard that is provide the requirement for the measurement and monitoring of the carbon emission. It has got three parts. Part one is basically provide the guidance for specification to be used by the organization for quantification reporting. Part two is used by the project level quantification of the carbon emission and the reporting. And the part three is used by the third party verifier for the verification and validation of the emission, based on which the compliance result are confirmed, in fact. So this 14064 series of the standards provide the greenhouse gas measurement methodology. It really helps in enhancing the transparency and credibility because the organization may have a different stakeholders. The organization will report based on the risk management what are the key sources of emission, and this reporting can be used by the stakeholder for the further decision making. It also supports the climate commitment and net zero targets and facilitate carbon trading and offset program because it helps the organization to understand their current emission level and developing the plans to cater to it. Also supports the corporate sustainability leadership. 45,001 is basically provides a framework for occupational health and safety management systems and covers the key topics when it comes to occupational health, safety, and working conditions. And this standard directly connects to SDGs when it comes to good health and well-being, decent work and economic growth, and reduce inequalities. 50,001 standard is for the energy management systems. These standards define the requirement for the energy performance for the organization, and this standard also directly indirectly supports the need for the climate change, how the organization can adapt to the climate change requirement and face the climate change issue at the organization wide level. Some of the key topics is with respect to the energy efficiency improvement, in terms of the what is the current energy consumption, how the organization can monitor the current energy consumption, how they can set the target for further improvement, how they can define the baseline, and how they can do further monitoring and measurement and ensure that they improve or reduce improve energy performance, reduce the energy consumption over a period of time. When it comes to the sustainable development goals, this directly relate to the affordable and clean energy, responsible consumption, production, and climate action. SA8000 is a standard for standard from Social Accountability International. The main objective or the purpose of this standard is to inculcate and promote the decent working practices at the organization wide level, and it ensures it covers the key topics such as the child labor and young worker protection, free and fair recruitment, employment termination, freedom of association, right to collective bargaining, decent work, wages and benefit, health and safety, freedom from discrimination, privacy, and further the connection to SDGs. When it comes to the connection to SDGs, directly related to the no poverty, gender equality, decent work and economic growth, and reduce inequalities. So, organization that is following the requirement of the SA8000, they can develop the strategies to tackle the issue of the child labor, discrimination, working hours. So directly, indirectly, they can meet the requirement and ensure the compliance to the International Labour Organization requirement as well. GRI standard, Global Reporting Initiative, is the first standard for the sustainable reporting. This addresses all the three pillars. That's a good part of it. Equally, environment, social pillar, and of course the economic pillar, and also supports almost all the sustainable development goals achievement. The key topics are material issue identification. Material issue is basically the risk identification by the organization when it comes to reporting, sustainability reporting at the organization-wide level. This GRI defines the requirement for reporting of the material issue within the organization. Leading the next topic is stakeholder engagement, because if the organization is doing the sustainability reporting in a transparent manner, the information can be utilized by the stakeholder, internal and external, for the further decision making and the improvement. And also, this also provides the guidance for the performance disclosure and impact measurement. GRI standards is basically a series of the standards itself that depends, there are standards in GRI that considers the as a universal standard. Then there are sector specific standards and the topic specific standards. It's up to the organization which to decide, considering their materiality and requirement and their business and product, they can choose and they can ensure the compliance to the GRI standard. and they can do the sustainability reporting, meeting the stakeholder requirements. Ethical Trading Initiative is a base code. This is the code. It's also a standard, and it's used by the for the SMETA audit. SMETA stands for SIDEX, Member Ethical Trade Audit. SIDEX is nothing but just but a portal for where buyer and supplier shares the data information, and this ETI base code addresses also the social and ethical compliance requirements when it comes to fair labor practices, health and safety, environment, and business ethics. Primarily, there are four pillars based on which the reporting is done. So the key topics is labor right and practices, health and safety compliance, environmental management, business ethics, and governance. So these are some of the key topics, and the requirements that are verified is in to the local context of the law, applicable labor standards and health and safety standards and laws within the country or the region. And second is the ethical trading initiative own requirements. It directly connects to some of the sustainable development goals when it comes to the good health and well-being, gender equality, responsible consumption, production, climate action, decent work and economic growth, reduce inequalities, peace, justice, and strong institutions. UN Global Compact, in fact, it aligns with the 17 SDGs, and this encourages the organization to do follow the human right requirement, sustainable requirement within the organization, and this UN Global Compact also imbibes and promulgates the 10 principles that they have related to the human rights and other related topics such as the labor standard, environmental stewardship, anti-corruption measure, and like GRI also connect to 17 sustainable development goals as well. Science-based target initiatives. This has happened because following the Paris Agreement, it is the duty and the responsibility of the corporate and the business houses to ensure that they define the measurable plans, measurable objectives, and the smart objectives when it comes to the climate change, and to ensure that their objective setting is keeping in view of the global temperature, which is that is to be kept less than 2 degrees Celsius, say 1.5 degrees Celsius. So this supports the net zero commitment and enable the measurable climate action. Key topics is carbon reduction pathways, addresses the scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, climate scenario planning, supply chain decarbonization. It also connects to some of the sustainable development goals, such as the affordable and clean energy, responsible consumption, and production. So this brings us to the case study. This case study is about the organization. It's a fictitious organization named as Global Thread Manufacturing. They are into the manufacturing of the thread. Location is Bangladesh, and they are catering to the supply chain across South Asia. Size is 5,000 plus employees across. They have got 8 facilities, 8 sites. The key challenges that they are facing is related to the labor right, environmental impact, community concern while meeting the competitiveness. So let's understand the background. Key drivers, initial challenges that they were facing is in terms of the poor labor condition, low wages, child labor risk in supply chain, environmental pollution from dyeing processes, limited community engagement, reputational risk and customer pressure, difficulty attracting the ethical investors. And beside this, they were also having some stakeholder concerns when it comes to workers. Workers were concerned about the fair access to the fair wage, safe condition, grievance mechanism. Communities, when it comes to communities, there is an issue related to the environmental protection, quality of the water. When it comes to customers, customer definitely was not having a confidence in their in the organization when it comes to meeting the requirement of a stakeholder, as simple as how to ensure that they are sourcing ethically and there is a transparency. Investors concern was the ESG compliance and the compliance to the applicable laws and related matter, and identification of the risk in this context and taking the necessary actions. And regulators, of course, the labor law, their expectation was the labor law compliance and environmental standards. So with this, they defined the strategy considering these constraints. They had a 5-year plan. Year one was assessment and planning. The year two was core initiative launch. Third and fourth year, they had a scaling and embedding of the concept. And fifth year, did they had gone for recognition programs. So when they did the assessment and planning, they started with the stakeholder consultation process, where they try to understand the need and expectation of the standards. They utilize the guidance from the ISO social responsibility guidance document, ISO 26000. They did the gap analysis, and based on the result of the gap analysis, they did the governance restructuring. And when they launched the core initiatives, they did some verification and measurement, such as the human right audits, environmental upgrades. They did train their workforce on the key topics, and they also start interacting with the community, understanding their concerns, and they had a stakeholder forums as well. And in the following third and fourth year, they did the supply chain expansions. They did the continuous improvement, and they got some third-party certification as well. And this is how they deepen their approach, because they are able to reach their supply chains. Because we cannot say that it is the fault with the organization, because organization is not operating in isolation. Organization is operating under the to meet the demand of the stakeholder, and they are a part of the system in the supply chain. So when it comes to maturity and recognition, they have gone for industry leadership position. They did some compliance and gone for recognition, and expanded the impact initiative, and they try to embed the sustainability in their culture, which was a challenging job for them, in fact. So this is how the impact measurement was done and the result displayed. So they segregated the impact as the social impact and the environmental impact. And social impact, they consider the metrics in terms of the worker wages, child labor cases, employee turnover, women management, and workplace injuries. So they considered they analyzed the result. They did the proper measurement of what was the performance before the initiative and what was the performance after the implementation, and this resulted in the positive change, where the worker wages, there was a increment by plus 30%. They would have considered the living wage requirement, not only the minimum wage requirement or the legal wage in the country. Child labor cases, initially there was a child labor cases, but when they took the initiative, this dropped down by 100%. They are able to fully control it. When it comes to the employee turnover, they the employee turnover also reduced by 60%. They increased the women in management to cater or to reduce and eliminate the discrimination, gender discrimination, resulted in plus 212 percentage result. And workplace injuries also dropped down by 93%. And when it comes to the environmental impact, water usage saw a drop by 40%, chemical waste by 90%, because they were ensuring compliance and taking the necessary measure. And they were also meeting the requirement of the local authorities laws when it comes to the wastewater quality. So they become their status changed from non-compliant to the compliant. Carbon emission also, they were able to reduce by 30%. So with this, they had some positive result in terms of the revenue growth. Revenue growth they had by plus 25%. Customer retention have gone up to 94% from 72%. Investor interest obviously has risen. They got the funding for the ESG also from the stakeholders and the investors, in fact. And they also measure the brand value, and they found that it has gone by plus 40%. Cost saving by $8 million per year, and premium pricing 15 to 20% premium pricing was accepted. So these are some of the key factors, key success factor when it comes to the leadership commitment. CEO championed the sustainability, allocated the resources. That is the key. In fact, the top management commitment is a driving factor always. They did the proper stakeholder management, and this really helped through regular dialogue with all the parties and co-created solution. They put in place the 26,000 framework that provided the structure globally and recognized approach. They had transparency through regular reporting and third-party verification. They had put in place through this help, through all this initiative, a long-term vision by embedding the sustainability in the business strategy, not just CSR. So that is very important. It's not a day job. It is not for the particular project. It is not for a short-term project. It's not for the long-term project or for the key stakeholder project. It is in the blood, in the soul of the organization that the sustainability has to be incorporated. So this has led to some continuous improvement. They had regular audits and they have become more adaptive. So this is a result in the benefits that we saw. There was some concern. This converted into some benefit when it comes to the workers. They got benefit in terms of the fair wages and fair wages, safe working condition, career development, voice in decision making. This is very challenging. How the organization has defined the processes for the communication of the worker concern, and how whether it is reaching the management or it's simply supporting a bureaucracy within the organization. When it comes to communities, communities got the access to the clean water environment. They did some project to promote the education and healthcare. So the community had access to the education, healthcare, economic opportunities by getting the employment within the organization, and the quality of life. This is how it got improved. So when it comes to customers, they had access to the ethical product, transparency improve, and they can trace back to the requirement. Quality assurance has become the key. They were focusing on the products because definitely when you take care of the employees in a good way, they do perform. But the problem is in the organization is that how to measure. Before you take the action, you have to measure. This data has to be available. So this was a challenge for them. They did the proper assessment. That's why this resulted in alignment with certain values as well. So when it comes to companies, company is as an organization-wide level, they were able to reduce some risk. Their reputation enhanced, operational efficiency improved that supported the business in turn. They had a competitive advantage by utilizing the 26,000 framework that was supporting the ESG initiatives within the organization, and regular regulators and society also benefited because they transfer their status changed from non-compliant to compliant. They were able to protect the environmental in a good way by taking the necessary uh, measures, implementing the controls at the organization-wide level, and this has supported the economic development, and they become the model for the industry. So thank you very much for patient hearing. I'll be now handing over to Mr. Anshul.
Thank you, sir. I think we just finished on time, apparently just 8:32 or in. I think a quite compelling and informative session. You have covered a lot of bases around why sustainability, and then more importantly, what sustainability really mean in terms of standards, and why standards are really meaningful. How do they come to the value chain? And then apparently you finished up in the right fashion because you mentioned a lot of benefits are there, which are sometimes intangible and not sometimes visible at well. So I think the question is one question I'm seeing at the moment in the Q&A, but I encourage audience, if you have any other question compelling in your mind now, please feel free to put that out. And I think the question was more importantly was on the benefit side, right? Really why these sustainable project need to be taken up, because they are ultimately going to eat up the cost. The implementation will take up a cost. Yes, we agree, but I think you clearly mentioned that how the value is going to come out in the form of benefits. I think that is what the question was about. If you want to add something more on that, please.
Anshul, you want me to answer this question?
You have answered a lot already in that
Yeah,
fashion, that what added
yeah,
value really a customer has added there. So the
yeah.
customer's cost is going on, but you're going to recover the cost in multiple dimensions. That's what the idea is, that we don't need to see the cost only in the form of revenue, but more than that as well at times. Um, I see that no other question at so far beside that. Uh, if we don't have it, then pretty much we are good so far. We have already finished on time, but thank you so much, sir. I think that was quite insightful. And then more importantly, that you tried the beautiful case study that was much more meaningful as well to make a sense of that. So thank you so much for your time and
Thank you.
participation. And then, of course, we conclude this session with giving a good round of applause and thank you to the rest of the participants who joined us across the globe, and then to volunteers who make this webinars possible. Special thanks to the team members from membership outreach, volunteering, finance, and marketing colleagues, because that's where you reach to the inside of this global community. Remember, leadership isn't about executing the task, it's about inspiring people and navigating complexity and leaving the legacy with the impact. So, on behalf of the chapter and my colleague Amir and Joyce, this is Anchal, wishing you continued success and inspiration for all your successful projects in 2026. Until next time, we keep leading with a purpose, keep inspiring to your teams, and keep continuing to raise your bars for the project excellence worldwide. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.